Thumbs
You
up.
now.
All right, this is the August 13th, 2025 Fisheries Committee meeting. Before we begin, we'll start down to my left, and we'll go around. Just everybody, please introduce yourself.
My name is Billy Saxton.
Allison Hawks.
Chris McIntyre.
Jay McCray.
Seth Walker.
Jerry Lehman. David Wilson.
George Prince.
Samantha Bohan.
Matt Gilly.
So the first thing we'd like to do to, well, I guess we did attendance public, oh, we'll open it to public comment, I guess. None? Any committee announcements? Anything?
I'll make one. I can do it here or under staff updates. It doesn't matter. I actually had to meet with the manager of Great Island Boatyard earlier this week about something unrelated. But in talking to her, they hold concerts kind of in the summertime on a monthly basis. And they were open to having a fisherman attend that. Like if it was David, you could bring quahogs and sell quahogs. Seth, if you want to bring scallops or lobsters and sell them. You know, they're open to having a fisherman come and sell their product there, and also talk with some of the boat owners, you know, because there was a fisherman that had their gear around the marina a lot longer this year than they had in years past, but there was lobsters in shore water a lot longer this year than there was in years past. And they, once they understood that, it made sense to them, but they had no idea of that because they hadn't talked to a lobsterman. So I think it is an opportunity for us to kind of some public outreach and bridge some of those gaps, you know, with the people that don't understand the fishing community, and it's a chance for you to make some money and sell some of your product. There is one this Friday. If somebody wanted to do it, they could. I could reach out and get you all the information. If not, they're going to do them again next year, and she was open to having people then. She knew it was kind of cutting it close there where it was the last one, but I figured I'd at least throw it out there and make people aware.
You said they have it once a month for like 3 or 4 months?
Yep, in the summertime, usually like July, June, July, and August.
Yeah, that's decent. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
And if you want to do it, just find me after, and I can get your information and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I don't quote me, but I want to say it was like from like 5 to 7
Well, yeah,
in the evening. And you didn't have to be there the whole time if you just wanted to show up for an hour or something like that.
yeah.
You know, but good
Yeah,
way to
that-
improve landowner relations. And I know she mentioned you guys using it for clamming and stuff like that, and talked about how well that worked and
Oh, yeah,
stuff.
and a couple different times, us harvesters have got together and stuffed a bag for, you know, staff, and they, yeah, so, I mean, but I'm sure we dry their patience at times using the landing, so. It's worth it. Thank you.
So, if there's no objections, we talked about moving the second item on the agenda to the top because we have a guest speaker, and then that way he doesn't have to listen to our committee guidelines. If everybody's good with that, can we switch the second thing to the top? And you're up.
Good evening. My name is Mark Rosslet. I'm the president of the Hartsville Santa Fund. The Santa Fund's proposing a program in Hartsville for interested young or new individuals to the commercial lobstering or fishing businesses. At this point in time, this is just a vision, and we're looking to formulate a plan going forward. We have a few possible donors who are very interested in helping. We're in front of the committee this evening with the hope that your combined knowledge of the local fisheries and businesses of fishing can help us form a plan going forward with the legacy fishing in Hartsville. We're interested in your committee's ideas about how to move forward with helping individuals with the different processes and needs to start fishing business. Examples are, but not limited to, licenses, training courses, gear, equipment, etc. We're looking for your input because your vast knowledge and expertise in this field. In a really informative phone call with Jerry Lehman, it was suggested that we come to this meeting to explore different possible ideas and solutions to our program.
So, the first thing that comes to mind is process, I guess. We have to go through the town, of course, right? To to do this, obviously, and then set up some sort of an account, I'm sure, if it did go through. And then go from there, I guess.
So I think you'd want a formal proposal that you could submit to the select board,
Yep,
and then they'll probably get the treasurer involved and try and figure out how they could negotiate through this.
yeah, sounds to me almost like your letter is formal enough, if you want to submit that very letter that you just read to the, bring it to town hall during
You have-
business hours.
You
You could
have my
probably,
email still marked,
Yeah.
right?
I do.
Yeah, just forward it to me and I can bring it to the board for you.
Okay.
And that will work.
start with the select board, I would assume, and then
Yeah,
go
I
from there.
agree, yep. I think that can work well, though, and did you want to talk about the circle, Jerry? On how we can kind of connect this with Harpswell Aging at Home?
Yeah, I
Me
think
too, or,
if you wanna,
Harpswell Aging at Home has reached out to me as well, because they do what they call Meals in a Pinch, which are meals for people that may be on hard times, may have an injury or something like that. It's a once-a-month thing, and they're starting to run into some food insecurities.
Twice a month.
Or it's twice a month, thanks. But they're starting to run into some food insecurities. They're having a hard time procuring food and stuff like that. Well, most of us, for a living, catch food. So kind of what my initial thought when I heard about this was kind of tying the donation from the Santa Fund, say if they bought a young fisherman 5 traps, that young fisherman in return would donate a small portion of their catch to the Harpswell Aging at Home, you know, as kind of a thank you, you know, and that would help that program out as well. So it'd be one hand kind of washing the other. And I think that can also be expanded beyond just the Santa Fund with fishermen helping out. I mean, we have 270-something lobstermen in town. If everybody donated 1 lobster a month, you'd feed the people for almost 3 months, you know what I mean? It's not a lot to ask. And clammers, you know, a small sand pail full of clams or oysters, you know, something like that. They have a kitchen, an industrial kitchen that they use right up on the base, Jay.
Right, right. They're twice a month, a group goes in, volunteers, it's all volunteer, go in and prepare 4 meals in a pinch.
Yep.
And then it gets transferred every Tuesday, every alternate Tuesdays at the Nazarene Church, they pack it. They're trained in food safety, and they pack it, and it gets driven by volunteers to people who've registered for it.
I think to follow on that, it'd be a good educational piece too,
Yeah.
you know, to tag along, one, prepared, where it comes from, food benefits, health benefits,
Yeah.
anti-inflammatory, brain food, you know, like that.
And intergenerational.
Well, that's
Ways
just
of
it.
life.
I think it ties in with the stewardship and heritage, you know, the father and the mother take care of their kids till they come of age, till they have their own family, and eventually as the parents get old, it's the kid's job to take care of the parents. And I think it's a good thing to teach the younger generation that, you know, I think there's a lot of opportunity there to bridge a lot of that gap, especially the elderly here in town.
Does that sound like something, Mark, that the Santa Fund would probably help get behind? I would assume, you know, if,
Behind whatever you guys want.
you know, in that way, you know, there's some benefit for everybody in town, you know, that way, you know, type of thing. So, yeah, I think if you forward me that letter, I can bring it to the board and we can start working on getting that in process, you know, and then you guys can maybe work on creating, like, for lack of better terms, guidelines or a checklist, you know, or some type of application for people to apply for the money, you know, and how you would reward it, you know, and maybe, you know, what, like if you could come up with, if we gave you X amount of money, we require you to donate X amount of seafood or something like that.
I think there's also opportunity, like with some of these local training programs for vessel safety and stuff
Yeah.
for the younger generation. I think some of them offer some state and national funding programs. Actually will come to locations that could be set up with these guidelines too. It's always good to get them early and get them young, and get them trained.
So, real
Matt?
quick, I wanted to say something too. I kind of get goosebumps talking about this. This is some of the stuff, like, I know a lot of us have been hoping would come to fruition, so even talking about this and you bringing this up is just, it's awesome, warms my heart, so my only couple things, I'd like to not see it get watered down by the town. If this is a Harpswell Santa Fund initiative, I'd love for it to stay as your initiative and you fund us or our requests maybe, but I don't want it to get watered down in the town and taken away from, I mean, this is your idea, this is, I mean, kind of, I would think your baby, so I'd love for you guys to kind of hold that. I think it's an awesome thing that you're bringing to the town, so I just,
You guys all know the people the best, so that's why we came here.
yeah.
But
No, I agree.
we'll do this whatever.
Yeah,
That's
I have
just
no
my,
objection to that either.
that's just my opinion, so I'm just
I-
throwing that out there.
Whatever the most efficient way to make it happen is the way I'm on board for. If we don't have to involve the town, that doesn't hurt my feelings at all. If we have to, then so be it.
That's efficiency, that's a good word for that.
Yeah.
If we need it to, because it helps get us different things or grants, maybe, I don't know, but I'd rather just see that you guys be the leader of that.
So only one little thing that we have is, so the Santa Fund is sort of stuck to its bylaws, and it's just Hartsville residents only. And
Mm-hmm,
I don't think that's a problem, but I just want to put that out there.
yeah, no, I think that's great.
I think that's fun.
I think that's awesome. So, and then the other one thing that, and it's funny that you were talking about this, is because I was talking about this with another fisherman today, is that I think one of the gaps is, for fishermen and new fishermen especially, is there's so much paperwork, so much computer work, and so much, it's really it's a huge obstacle for, especially for the young kids. I know even though they use it, even for like my 12-year-old, you know, to do reporting for a 12-year-old is
Yeah.
like the most insane thing. You want to throw your computer out the window, or having to do the paperwork, the reporting, filling out a financial plan, or filling out, you know, a lot of stuff that
That's stuff we
people,
can help with
but
too.
people have never done that, you know, and even talking is older adults, even my age, that still haven't done those things either. So I think that is a huge gap for getting into the fishing world, because it's so expensive to buy a trap or to buy the equipment that you need, and that seems like such a huge obstacle for young people getting into it. Is like, oh my God, that's gonna be so much money, or I can't afford that. But there's a different way to look at things, and I don't think that that's always, we're not taught that. We're definitely not taught that in high school, how to manage or budget money or any of that stuff, so,
Actually, Jerry was saying a business plan is
Yeah.
a real important part of it.
I agree. So, thank you, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I love your idea, Matt, too, I think that's great.
In the meantime, if there's a fisherman that wants to donate some product, considering, you know, it's gonna stay chilled and fresh, like, who do they get in touch with?
For the Harpswell Eating at Home program?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can get you, the person in charge of Meals in a Pinch sent me the dates that they're doing it,
yeah.
but I think I want to ask her, does she want it for the cooking together piece or for the Tuesday when people drop it off piece? So
Yeah.
let me get back to you, but I wanted to say that to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, let me
Yeah,
know.
Can you
email
email
the
that
group?
to the,
Yeah.
to the whole committee?
Is that
Yeah.
legal to email everybody?
Yeah, as long as no
Yeah,
one responds
yeah,
to you.
yeah, we're not making any decisions about it, you're just giving us
Okay.
information. It's no different, Paul does it once a month, he gives us the packet, so.
I'm not a
Yeah.
committee member.
Touche.
No,
Gotta
that
pull
would-
technicalities.
That would be great. They're very excited about, Jerry had offered, Matt had offered, and David, that would be, Samantha, that'd be great.
Yeah, let me know what the schedule is.
I will.
I'd like to donate.
Great, thank you.
Hey Jay, how many people does that serve?
The last month they did, or the last time, it was 61 families, about 250 meals, because they send multiple meals.
Yeah,
One Hartsel?
All Harpswell, the same thing, it's Harpswell only.
That's
And
amazing.
it's like Meals on Wheels, except there's no waiting list, and it's, you know, better food.
I like Jerry's idea too, maybe, I mean, we can create a pamphlet or something like that, you know, that goes in with a meal that talks about some of that heritage and the health benefits and all that.
And that's perfect, because part of the bag that goes to somebody's house, they'll put you know, community information in, and something like that would be perfectly in line with what's already done, educate the public, tie everything together, perfect.
Thank you.
I'm excited.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Sounds like a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
So back up to the top, Town of Hartsville Committee guidelines. Paul provided us with an email with this information. What was the goal here, Paul? Did you want us to, are we
asked
supposed to all sign it, or Matt, okay? Are we supposed to all sign this and get it back
Well,
to you?
you all signed
or-
it when you signed up for the committee.
That's what I thought.
And I just wanted to make sure that everybody had a copy and reviewed it, and we're gonna adhere to them,
Okay,
is all. Some committees don't, we're gonna cross our Ts and dot our Is.
perfect.
I think the biggest thing, like Allison mentioned, was just no communication. You know, if someone sends something, or if I send something to you, don't talk about it as a committee through email. Save it for the meeting.
Okay.
No
Does that
more
common
than,
sense?
point,
Yeah.
like, 2 people, no,
I
3
think it's
people
3.
can't get together,
Yeah.
because then it's considered a committee, right? Is it 3?
I think it's 3.
It's a percentage
Yeah.
of
That was
committee.
more,
Yeah.
but still.
So
It's even
Jerry
walking
and I,
Call it
outside.
3, and then we're safe.
so
Yeah.
Jerry and I won't be swinging by the marina anymore, Bill, sorry.
But I mean, we can't go outside in the parking lot and continue the meeting.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it's like, you talk about
Exactly.
the Red Sox, but, you know,
Right. It's pretty much inevitable
And you
that
can-
3 of us don't bump into one another at a time somewhere.
Right. It's just don't discuss committee stuff.
Exactly. Aquaculture review guidelines, who wants to jump on that?
You wanna know?
I can lead off. So we thought it would be helpful to kind of take an example of how, you know, like the planning board, they kind of have a list of criteria when they go through a review of anything. So Matt and I were talking, and we thought it'd be helpful if we kind of made a draft, something similar to how you would review aquaculture. And then at the end, you kind of go through and you're weighing all the yeses and nos and determining if you basically think it's reached a point where you either are going to say, yes, we support this, or no, we do not support this. And then we also included at the end, comment, you know, we can include comment from the committee. And then based on the decision of this committee, we would do the committee's chairman and harbor master, and then this is what the signature page that would go to DMR, basically representing the entire committee. So we're open for suggestions, if everyone had time to review the draft. If anyone would like to see anything else on there or taken off there.
I think this will just help keep us more on track than maybe we did the first one. We kind of, which, I mean, it was our first meeting. It was understandable. We went off on a few tangents and stuff like that. So this will just, I think, will help keep us on base, you know, and moving forward. But I mean, we're certainly open. If you guys see anything that should be changed, speak up.
I took these questions basically from statute or from the regulations and statute. So these are just what the statute says, and I took the sentences and broke them down into questions. So it'd be easier
What,
to delineate.
DMR's criteria list is not even half this, correct?
This is DMR. This is statute. This is from the statute and from the
Yeah.
regulations.
Yeah.
We broke a couple, I think a couple of them had them as like listed as one, and we
Yes.
kind of separated them
Yep.
out.
Yeah.
You know, like I think it said that does it interfere with navigation, fishing, and something else all in one thing, and we have an individual one for each one instead of just one like DMR did.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to really break down what's happening out
Yeah.
there. You know, just because it doesn't interfere with recreational fishing doesn't mean that a commercial fisherman doesn't fish there.
Right.
Great idea, guys.
Can I ask, George, can I ask a question?
Of course.
If, so the pre-application's required, and they're adding that for experimental, not quite there yet,
It's not there yet.
but it's in the process.
Yep.
So if the committee doesn't say yes, it still goes to DMR.
The applicant can still submit, but
they'll-
during the pre-application, there's a DMR staff member in that meeting as well.
Yeah. But then the public, including members of the committee, can also go to scoping sessions and, yeah. But DMR may override what the town says.
So the pre-application, so like, for example, later on in today's agenda, the whole point is this is before the applicant even submits anything to DMR. This is for them to get raw feedback from the community they're gonna be in, and make some decisions based off the information they get.
Yeah.
They can still submit a full proposal the way it's presented, but, again, it's all gonna be documented, you know,
Yeah.
so, and the town has multiple opportunities to weigh in on
Right.
that process.
Thank you.
So, may I ask, as a committee, should we just weigh on our determination with the proposal, or is it gonna take, emails from separate individuals? Because I know that you need a certain number, before DMR wants to recognize it, like,
We count as one, don't we, individual as a committee, don't we?
You do, but if during a lease process, the town could always apply to be intervenor status, which would give you more say.
that's if they pursue it from here on out.
Right.
If that were to happen, how would we approach that? What would we have to establish an intervenor within this committee to?
Yeah, I think we'd have to take a vote as a committee
Yeah.
if we wanted to be an intervener, and if we voted to be an intervener as a committee, then you would apply for us
Yep.
to be an intervener, correct?
Yep.
I was just curious, because I believe, didn't they pass a law where now it's 25 in opposition of the proposal for them to recognize?
I don't know.
I don't know if that one got updated.
I think it's not approving,
Trigger
but
hearing, I think what he's
requesting a
requesting.
hearing.
Yeah,
It was 5, now it's 20, maybe?
yeah, that's what I thought. It was
It's more.
initially 5 and now it's 20, so.
Something like 20.
But, I mean, that's will be determined, through the applicant, after he gets our feedback.
Let me find out if they would consider the town committee if we get a town committee requesting a public hearing, then that triggers it automatically, get a public hearing.
Yeah.
I'll ask that question.
All right.
Thank you.
I have a question. You lucky dogs, I'll have lots of questions. So, do we care if people that apply are business owners? Like if we have continued people that want to, does that matter if it's a personal application or if it's a business application?
No.
So think of yourself as like a sublet of the state, right? So you're basically gonna have to review it the same way they would, and if that's not a consideration, see, that's a weird thing for me to say, because now that I think back on it, they do ask for business information for a lease. They do ask for bank
Yeah,
information.
You have to have all your, like, if you're, have multiple shareholders, you have to list them all.
Yeah.
And all that. And you can't change any of your corporate structure during the process. So they do ask for a lot of information. I think it's just to make sure they don't have, like, I don't know, Chinese companies coming in certain areas or something. I don't know.
It's just, for me, it's just, and because I'm new to this aquaculture stuff, but it's just weird because there are no licenses I can think of are done that way. Everything is done to a person, so.
I think it's more similar to maybe like when a fisherman creates an LLC for their fishing business.
We all have those. I have them, but I
Right.
don't, none of my licenses are applied for by an LLC. They're applied for by my husband's name.
It's not actually a license, though. It's like a lease. It's a permit for. a
I
rental
understand
of
that, but
everything.
we're all stewards of the ocean, so I'm
Is
just,
it-
if this is like a thing, I'm just curious if it matters and if we're allowed to, it's even allowed to be a part of our process.
I think
We can
for,
ask.
for
the
a
department.
lease, I think it might be. Like you were saying, where they ask for all that business information, but for an LPA, do they ask for that information? Because that's a license.
I don't know if.
It would be in the packet, which
Yeah.
I've never seen any kind of
That's
business
what I said.
information in the
I'm not
packet.
seeing
Yeah,
anything.
I haven't.
Well, we have seen at times,
Yes.
several employees of a company applying for LPAs,
Yeah,
saying it was for them, but it was really for the company, and we've had that 3 or 4 times in my memory.
yeah.
And I
That's-
see,
That's important information to know. A lot of them
Right.
cut and pasted, you're like, okay, these 17 are the same person.
Right.
Same wrong information or the right information, so
That would, I guess, be a question for DMR.
We did ask Amanda that question,
Yeah.
you and I, about clarifying if someone's working for another company but applying under their own name. And Amanda basically told us that there's no criteria to call someone out for that. She said it's not like, you can't just,
Yeah.
you can't deny the process because you found out they are working for somebody. I
But
guess
you're-
is what their concern was.
But you're allowed to ask, is the equipment owned by the company or by the individual? Like, is it, you know, that may be a good thing that she's bringing up.
I think you guys can
Say,
ask anything you
I feel like
want.
we need to figure that out because it's gonna hurt us smaller people
Yes,
in the
that's
long run.
exact-
And it sucks, it does, and.
I was literally
happening a
gonna
lot.
say, this is gonna, it's already booming, and it's gonna be, there's gonna be a time when there's no space. We're gonna have to be like, there's nothing left to do, and I'd hate to see someone like Sammy being pushed out by people that have 20 leases,
Right.
that aren't even from here, and I know I'm not supposed to say that, but I probably will still say it 20 more times, so I apologize in advance.
So this is consolidation questions?
Yeah, as it stands right now, there's probably hundreds of LPA license holders that do work for a larger company. They've agically, strategically, like, mapped out certain bays to prevent any more aquaculture from going in there. If you play it right, you can prevent,
Take the spot.
yeah.
There is a limit on how many an individual
Yeah,
can
within a
have,
circumference.
but I don't know if it's a company and 15 people
Yeah,
have the max. I don't know. That's a DMR question,
yeah.
I think. Can we get a copy of the rule book? Because we love reading the laws.
You want all the regulations from,
Jayla,
yeah, we can
Jayla,
print that
the
out.
law.
Boy,
Just send a link.
You know
sign
me
yourself
well.
up for that one.
I don't know how to read them.
Get back to us with what you find, okay?
Even at
You
the,
write it in English for us.
even
give
at
us
the
the cliff
committee
notes?
meetings, they'll flip, the department will flip
Bet you
through
could
it.
Google it nowadays.
You know, that's what.
But if we had the book,
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
Oh, I
summarize.
we
ask
could refer to
Google all the time something random, it gives me an answer.
I suppose probably the answer to your question is that it's a good question, but not necessarily something that would be like on a list of criteria. Because at the end of the day, that's not one of the criteria that DMR is gonna judge the application on. So, I mean, it's certainly a good question that we could ask and, you know, it'd be good to know, but it's not, I don't think necessarily something that should be on that list, just because it's not actually gonna make any difference one way or the other
I would be
as to
curious,
whether an
that's a good
application
point
was
too, I'm
granted or
curious
not.
to hear, I mean, I would wanna know what DMR has to say about how we would be looking at that, and also, I guess I'd say, why don't they care?
And that might be something, if you guys as a committee have something that you think is an important issue to raise at the legislative level to make that change at the DMR review process, that's something you guys should discuss.
I mean, I'm interested to know why the corporations can get licenses. Cause I've seen, it's not just
Yeah.
individuals, I've seen them,
Yeah, it's cool.
they
that a
all come
motion?
in my emails.
Do we make a motion?
To,
What are we
Uh,
motioning?
we would just have we
Or
would,
just ask it, Paul, just to ask, and then come back with it later.
have a conversation with DMR.
That seems to
Could
be-
we ask him, you think, on Monday that, Paul, at that at the end of that pre-application meeting?
We can,
Is
yeah,
that
we can ask her, we can ask her, we'll start there. I'd like to hear from Amanda directly.
Yeah.
She's the end all be all.
Is she not in that pre-application?
No, it's just someone. that's
Okay,
doc-
all right, sorry, I didn't know.
We can ask that question though.
Yeah,
And they'll probably say, I'll have to ask Amanda.
Yeah.
yeah,
So once we find out the answer to that, then we could make a decision after, when we hear back from DMR,
yep.
what their reasoning is, or what.
Yeah, and if we can add it on there, or look at that, and if we can, how about to look at it, I guess.
And if it is something that
would be
doesn't
a
make
law.
sense, and then go to the next level of, how do we make this, look at this different, or make a change, I guess, I don't know.
Or a rule.
Yeah,
At the working group, we requested a rule change. And that was with the help of a current legislator. So
Okay.
there's a process, but it's not quick.
Your current legislators will be here tomorrow at 4 PM if you'd like to talk with them to meet with the public. Both your senator and your state representative.
oh, wait,
Is Collins coming?
No, your state representative. Collins is actually coming next week, though.
Herself or her rep?
Probably her rep.
Do we need to adopt this?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, Paul, do you need a motion on this?
Do you guys wanna wait till you get your answer?
Should we,
Can we amend it?
I mean, you could always amend it, yeah,
or do you wanna just table it for now?
up to you guys, with that deal.
Give us some guidance. What do you think's best?
Yeah.
Do you think we should
I
have?
think it'd be a good test today to use it to kinda go through your
Yeah,
pre-app.
okay. Yeah,
I think we should adopt it and then amend
Yep,
it if we
I
need to
agree.
add something.
I think that's best.
Because I think this
It's
is a
easy enough
good
to
piece
do.
of paper, and we can use it for next meeting to start with. So I move that we adopt the guidelines that Paul made up for us.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
I have to read it.
You learned that last time. You're never gonna
So I was like,
motion
I'm
or
gonna sit
second.
right here.
Yeah.
Anything else pertaining to this?
No, I think we're on to the next one.
Wait.
Looks like the next thing is a standard lease pre-application review. Somebody here to speak on that?
I don't think so.
No? Just us?
So the DMR reached out to staff, as they do for pre-application meetings. This individual, Hadley Scott. Well, I'll give you a little background. So the Harbor and Waterfront Committee was approached by, I believe, Hadley at one point last winter. And they had brought, a whole group of them brought, I think it was 8 LPs,
Yeah,
maybe
a
12,
lot
I can't
more,
remember.
yeah.
At least
17.
8, yeah. Is that 17?
Or 17.
I
Okay,
think
so-
11 or 12, there were like 17 at once that came in, but I think 11 or 12.
There was more than
were
10 part of that
were
proposal, though.
Part of that, in that one area.
They were around Little Whaleboat at that time, and the Harbor and Waterfront Committee told them that was not gonna work. And I believe Chris had offered to work with some of the applicants to find a better location, and I don't know if they ever even hooked.
Yeah, well, they had, because I guess the aquaculture working group meeting must have been before the Harbor and Waterfront Committee meeting that night, because they spoke to the aquaculture working group as well that night.
Yeah, they
Maybe they
did.
did both, maybe they did both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And, yeah, it must have been in like November or December last year. And yeah, like you said, there were like 11 or 12 LPAs that they were applying for in that same general area. I had given contact information.
Did they ever contact you?
No, neither of the well, I don't know, what do you consider, like, are Hadley Scott and Nate Ingersoll, like or how is that? Hadley Scott is like, what, like a primary applicant and the other two are secondary, or, I don't know how that.
I don't know, I'm not sure why.
There's
you
3
hired-
names
Yeah.
listed, but.
The
um,
applicant is Butterfield Sea Farm.
Yeah,
Oh.
so it sounds like a business
Name
is
of-
the
So,
applicant.
so,
Butterfield
again,
Sea Farm.
that was an
Okay.
example of something
Yeah.
where we, like,
Okay.
who's applying? We have,
Yeah.
Okay, very
we had,
similar.
we had 4 LPAs,
situation. Okay.
12 LPAs, I think, or 3, whatever.
Yeah.
But it was all copy and pasted, and it was like, what's going on?
Okay.
So now we're seeing this, I think.
If I may, Chris,
They
you
own
look,
a big lease down in Yarmouth. If you look up Nate Ingersoll,
Mhm.
he's got a huge lease out of Yarmouth. He's, I believe, the owner of the business, and they use Ingersoll and Butterfield as their corporation or whatnot.
Well, yeah, so I had talked to that Hadley Scott, I think, given her my contact information, and then like within an hour of leaving that meeting, that Keith Butterfield called me. And was like, hey, like, can we get coffee or whatever? And I guess I kind of blew him off. I was supposed to get back to him and I didn't at the time, which was my fault. But then I know I never did hear from the actual applicants of the, but I had dealt with that Butterfield before, back when he applied for the lease on the southwest end of Lower Goose. And I had gotten hooked up with him and was like, hey, this isn't gonna work. worked with him a bunch, talked to the Ulrichsons a bunch, and like kind of worked on like a spot like on the other side, kind of like northwest of French's, kind of out in the middle where they were like, you know, the Ulrichsons said there was nothing there but crabs, so. And it was like, this would be a better spot. And then I thought that he was gonna rework up the application, and then nothing's ever that. I think that application's still pending.
I
Like,
think so, yeah.
it just, nothing ever happened with it. I think their goal has been to kind of try and get out of the bay, you know, they want better water, you know, more tide, you know, they're trying to get, which obviously they just kind of keep running up again. I just don't understand how it's like, you know, the LPA, so how did the LPA process, they asked, the Harbor and Waterfront Committee said no, and so that just gets dropped from there?
They could still submit it if they wanted to,
But
I
they
think-
did, but they
they're not
did.
gonna get the town sign off on it.
Right, but they didn't, the
They did not,
LPAs,
correct.
they did not move forward with them. But then, like, 8 months later or whatever, 7 months later, now it's like
No, it's
standard lease in the exact same location.
I'm a
I
hard
don't,
no.
I don't, well, yeah,
Yeah.
everybody is,
I'm
but
not gonna change my mind. There's so many people fish there.
Yeah.
Lobsters, scallops,
I
there's
just don't,
scallop toads
I just
there.
am having a really hard time trying to understand the mindset.
Also,
Of,
fast
of
forward,
like, no, okay, let's try.
fast forward to today, so what we've established is, so the DMR reached out to staff to set up a pre-application meeting. That's with the DMR staff and the applicant. We are inviting Selectman Gilly and Chairman Prince to join staff with,
Weird.
like, that's all official. Join us for the pre-application meeting on Monday, but we'll bring it to the committee so that we have the committee's input prior to that meeting.
Yeah.
So that everyone goes into that meeting kind of knowing where the town stands.
I just, I gotta, you know, I'd love to have the opportunity to work with them on trying to figure out some better solution, but
We'll
like,
call
that's
Keith
just
back
a-
and set up your coffee
Yeah, I
date.
guess I call Keith that.
So Monday
Well,
is an
like,
opportunity
That's
for,
just,
like, George can relay information from this committee
okay.
for, this is the point in the application process where they can move stuff around.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess just reiterate to them that it's like,
That's a bad spot.
offer still stands, like, if you wanna, you know, come to the committee, talk,
Yeah.
come to the committee, talk to the committee, try and figure something, like, you know, this isn't, the way you're going about it isn't working.
Everything
Isn't gonna
around the
work.
whaleboat's just,
They want 26 acres
Can I ask Paul a question?
Of course.
Paul, so this meeting you're gonna go to on Monday, is, you were saying that's an opportunity for them to move things around? Like the three of you would tell them where to put the stuff, or is that just you guys, like, what is the process?
So I think this is probably an extreme case where
Right.
there's not gonna be any opportunity for them to move stuff around.
Right.
Well,
You
not
know.
within that, I mean,
Right.
they need to rework it.
Right, I mean,
Like, it-
this is a, I mean, this, where the chairman and the selectmen are meeting on Monday, if it was a minor edit, I think that's something that the committee could have entrusted, you know, them to take on, but
Yeah.
it sounds like this is such a big project that there's just no way they're gonna be able to adjust anything that would be.
Yeah, like if we had said, like,
No.
all you gotta do is cut off that
Right.
bottom
Oh, right,
square,
yeah, right.
you
No,
know,
this
we
is-
could have relayed that, but
Yeah,
there
this is
isn't
back
any
to-
aspect of that lease that I don't
Well,
think works in anybody's mind.
Well, no, and not anywhere even close to that area, so, you know, it's a complete back to square one as far as trying to
And-
find 26 acres to lease in Casco Bay. Yeah.
Thank you for going out and getting the pictures and the count.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that was,
That was awesome.
Darcy went out, when did I send you out? Sometime last week.
That, like, the day you got it, you were like, go get it, so.
So
That helps
better do
a lot.
report.
that was cool. Yeah.
You wanna explain that while you were out there?
Yeah, so, you know, when Paul gave me the, you know, information about here's where they want the lease, I plugged in waypoints for all the corners, I went out to Little Whaleboat, and then I nudged up with the boat to every single buoy that was there and took a waypoint for it. And then I took all that date, I also took pictures, there's a literal photograph of every single buoy that has a star on here, so that we can show it's legitimate, here's all, if anybody ever wants it. the phone for the deputy harbor master, it's set up so that when you take a picture, it has the date, the time, the actual GPS coordinates, so there's absolutely no
nice.
question about data that we collect that way. And then I took all of that information and put it in my favorite little ArcGIS program and was able to project a little star for every lobster buoy that was out there and show where it lays inside of the proposed lines for them. And there was a lot, and I suspect there would have been more earlier in the season, but still 30 buoys within and around that area. And there's a couple.
2 or 3
that
weeks
are-
ago, there'd have been a lot
Yep.
more.
There's a couple that are slightly outside of the boundary areas, but I think those are
Yeah.
germane because they're in shoal area that would have been cut off
Trying.
if you took the whole boundary or.
And
they're-
those guys, Louise, they fish there all year. They're
Those
in hunts, that's their bottom.
Yep.
So you take that away, that's taking a lot of their bottom
Yep.
away.
And here's another kind of thing you guys should consider maybe for a later discussion. Sorry, I didn't have the layer for the fisheries map up there. Can I show them this, or is that not gonna?
If you can
So,
connect.
I don't know if I can connect it, but
Oh.
basically, this is where we need to discuss reviewing and ground truthing our fisheries maps. You guys can see, sorry.
It's, you're
That
talking
was a-
fishermen, you're
So,
fine.
you guys can see our maps that we made capture some of that area, but there's like, it doesn't really capture all the little shoaly stuff, and that's probably because those shoal fishermen weren't showing up at the meeting, so that's clearly a gap in our collection, and that's something we can maybe address now that we've collected this. We know that there's, fishermen that skiff fish out of there, and that's maybe an area we need to consider adding.
We scallop tow up in there.
Yeah, can you show her some toes so that she
We'll
has
go
that
up to
information?
4 or 5 fathom.
Yeah, so anything
It'd
that
be
we want to
important to have
add,
that
we've
information on there.
recognized, like, okay, here's a gap, how do we want to classify
One
it?
of those ledges, I saw a 46-foot boat stuck on one day and had to wait for high tide. We
I believe it.
fish tight.
Believe it.
I think one thing to just speak to the shore water mapping out, there was really not much of a shore water fishery for the last 4 or 5 years, and this year has been exceptionally better for those guys. So I bet they'd be far more apt to map where they fish after this year than they would have when we were doing this last year and they hadn't really fished in there for 3 or 4 years, and in their mind they'd written it off. I think that's a prime example of why we need to redo it every year. 'Cause
Yeah,
every year
so-
changes.
Yep,
That
maybe.
28 and that 12, we'll tow right up to where those other 2 stars are and we'll haul back to come off the bank to have enough room to get the drag aboard.
Yep, so you guys might want to consider scheduling like when everything slows down or
Does
in
that
between.
show that as a scallop tail on the map?
No, it's, yeah, sorry, we didn't.
No,
coordinate
it's
on
no
this.
good.
There's a little gap here, so it shows scalloping to the east and to the west, but like there's that was like a missing piece. And this is really blown up, so I can see why maybe we missed it on the big
Yeah,
giant map that we did, but again, like, this is why we're doing
we'll
it.
get that.
So we can fine tune it and add that stuff in.
Also, people know what it's for more than they did when we first started, I
Right.
think.
That was awesome of you to go out though the day you received the email.
Yep.
And it'd be nice if, weather permitting, if we could repeat that, cause, considering that wasn't mapped on our fisheries map, and you going out there that day and capturing that, like, that would've been hard to tell somebody different if you
Yeah.
hadn't done that.
And it comes from the town too. It's-
Yep.
It's a town employee.
And it's
that's
nice
good.
that we just did it as a department, so they can't say, oh, you let everybody know, so they just
Yeah.
freighted gear in there. No, that was a legitimate, objective.
Yeah, you did it the day it came in, nobody else knew about it
Yeah.
yet.
So I think it was important that we did that, not that like,
90 degrees, hot humidity, good day for a boat ride.
Darcy, what are the black air dots?
Those are
rocks.
ledges, that's
Yeah.
a part of the navigational chart.
Oh, okay, thanks.
don't take a boat there, that's what that means.
Yeah, yeah,
Or if you do, make sure.
don't, can't go.
So you guys have information that we don't support that, obviously?
Yeah, I don't really think, that one's just so blatant, I don't even think we really have to do
Right.
the checklist.
Pretty obvious.
Well, I mean, in addition to commercial fishing, I mean, that's.
There's
I mean, it's kind
navigation
of a-
issues.
Yeah, it's kind of a cause you can't even,
People camp on that island.
you
Isn't there
can't,
2 campsites?
you can't even
The
move,
backside, yep,
Yeah.
front, yeah.
Yep.
you can't even move through, you can't transit the area, I mean, at all, between those outer ledges and the island, so. I mean,
I motion we oppose it based off, 3 existing fisheries that take place through there certain times of the year, and at the same time, if we could ask them to come to our next meeting and maybe work out a new location for them.
Would you add navigation issues as a criteria?
I was gonna say that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so both
I mean, that's-
fisheries and navigation.
yeah.
I mean, obviously it's minor in comparison, but it's like,
It's another
Still-
criteria,
still a
so.
It
problem.
is.
Um,
It's helpful if you have the criteria.
yeah, do you wanna go down through?
I feel like we should do the checklist since we adopted it, and that just is another tool for us to use to say that this
It's
is
good
what we did.
practice.
Well, it's just a thing that everyone we do it with, and then we have something that says every time.
So some questions may not be applicable because this isn't a full application.
Right.
But you can still use it, but some things just may not be, you may not have the information to answer the question.
That makes sense, yeah. George, lead her away.
Just want me to read the questions?
Yeah, I
Okay.
guess just,
So,
All right.
A, does the proposed activity generate any discharge into coastal waters? I
we don't know
Okay,
that.
so that would
do
be-
we?
It's,
don't
those are
know
for
it.
salmon pens, it's for fish aquaculture.
Good.
B, does the applicant propose to use aquaculture gear and markings approved by the commissioner and the rules adopted? I assume that's yes.
Yes.
Well, we don't, there
We don't
again,
know.
there again, we don't know because there is no
It is.
formal application. yet.
Well. If an LPA, if it's an LPA, does the gear excluding mooring equipment cover more than 400 square feet?
It's not an LP.
Does the proposed activity present an unreasonable impediment to safe navigation? We determined yes, I believe, or that there'd be transit issues. Does the proposed activity unreasonably interfere with ingress or egress of riparian owners?
Yes.
Well,
We don't know.
I suppose we
I mean,
leave that to the
if you
riparian
can't
owners,
access
but-
that island.
I was just
like, I mean,
gonna
there's
say
two
this.
campsites there.
Yeah.
But I'm, well, yeah,
Wouldn't think-
When I go camp
I guess-
there, that's where I go.
it's on that,
It's owned by Maine Coast Heritage Trust.
So like would they-
Good
It's where the
point.
beach is,
Say,
isn't
yeah,
it?
It's where we land.
Yeah.
We can, but then they
Yeah.
can out to the
Yep.
property.
So yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Reasonably fair.
Does the proposed activity unreasonably interfere with commercial fishing activities? I believe, yes.
Times 3.
Does the proposed activity unreasonably interfere with recreational fishing activities?
Yes.
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 Will the proposed activity be unreasonable considering the number and the density of other aquaculture activities in the area?
No.
I don't know if we can answer that because we don't know actually what's gonna be taking place on this footprint, let alone what's.
well, there's no other,
For
the
now,
only
for
other,
now, it's
the
not.
only other lease in the area, I mean, I guess we could have that pulled up. Well, there's,
There's a
no, there's a,
seaweed
there's
lease
a
to the
kelp,
north, right?
yeah, there's a
Kelp-
kelp one,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah, he doesn't interfere with anything. I mean,
yeah,
he puts his gear out when we're taking ours up.
Right,
He's
yeah,
gone when we come
that's-
back, so he's,
it's the whole thing with the kelp, is
Yeah.
it, yeah.
it's a whole
Oh,
different.
on the northern
Whole
end,
different
that little
animal.
web out there is?
Yeah, and it's
Well,
on,
it's
it's on that
straight.
next ledge
Hate
up
it.
the
They're
big piece on the,
boring. They want a little lobster.
northwest corner there.
Yeah.
It hangs out into the jackknife mud, upper jackknife mud.
Yeah.
He uses that and up above it. Yeah,
Yours is always the same.
he sets his stuff in like the 1st of December. Does the proposed location, species, or activity present a risk to public health?
No,
Would you like to comment on that?
I don't actually know what's
No,
taking place on the.
no,
on the
but we're
lease.
gonna ask you some questions after about data and sampling.
If we're not able to answer yes or no on any of these, should we have an NA
NA,
yeah,
on all these? Because if we can't answer it, then we're unsure, even when we get an application.
yeah.
So can we change it to that?
add a non-applicable to that.
At least I know you looked at it and didn't skip it.
Right.
Right,
If an
I
LPA,
like that question.
if it's an LPA, which it's not, so non-applicable again. Is the consent of the riparian owner obtained if the activity is located above the mean low water mark?
It's not. Doesn't act like it.
Boom.
Well, A lot of NAs.
We could just put the picture.
Yeah,
of
well,
the
it's
town
more,
here.
it's more applicable when you actually have
Right next
an
to LPA.
an application, you know, than it is in the pre-application process, but it's still,
I think
A
it's
good
something for Paul to
exercise.
take back, for you to be able to use as a tool.
Do the pictures answer this? The
Yeah,
details?
we could bring the pictures,
I was gonna say, just stick that map on.
yeah,
Yeah.
we can do that, can't we?
it's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can do anything.
Challenge accepted.
Darcy can do hold my beer.
yeah,
Sweet.
yeah, I guess at the end of the day, it just kinda all speaks for itself.
It should, we'll see, I mean.
I mean, I just can't believe the lack of, you know, it just doesn't show any good faith to have applied for these LPAs and not get them, and then apply for a standard lease in the same location without making any effort to rectify the issues with the proposed LPAs.
We can mention that
There's
at the
no-
pre-application meeting.
There's
Well,
no-
don't throw him under the bus for not going for coffee, though, you know.
I'm not, no, I won't. I won't.
Yeah,
do the
yeah, I
motion.
should have gone.
You were there,
With
you
me.
never showed.
What? Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
I will say that initially, what is it, Butterfield Sea Farm,
Yeah.
they did reach out to me, not understanding the process. They wanted to schedule a pre-application with me directly, and when he called DMR and said, oh, the harbor master's available on this date, DMR said, that's not how this works. We're the ones who reach out to the towns. We found out later that he wrote a separate email to DMR, basically frustrated that the town of Harpswell has created this process where we include a fisheries committee, because he feels that there was other opportunities in the process for the town to weigh in. And I think it's important for this committee to know that Amanda Ellis, the director of the aquaculture division, stood up for this committee and this town and said she's attended multiple meetings, she's seen meetings online, and the department fully supports what this town is doing. So I thought that was really powerful, and she included me in that response back then.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Very cool.
At what other point in the process did he think
Public
that the
hearing,
town, well,
open session.
so he just didn't think that the town should have
He thought it was an
a
extra
voice
on his,
this early in the process?
He's got, if he has those 3 other big leases in Yarmouth, I
Yeah.
mean, just look at him, it's like 10 acres worth of stuff. It just might be he didn't have to do this to go get those, and he's just not understanding.
But this isn't new, this pre-application meeting for a standard lease, that's not new, right?
it's not, so I had wanted, and I think the work group had talked about this before it became a committee, was to schedule all pre-application meetings at 5 o'clock here. And
Right.
DMR came back and said, no, we only do them between 8 and 3 business hours.
Is that when we?
So that's when we
Right,
said,
when we're
okay,
all
we'll get, we will get members from the committee to join
Yeah.
during those hours.
Right, but I guess I don't understand what his complaint even is if it's nothing new anyway.
I
having to
think
have a
early on in
pre-application
some
meeting.
towns, a pre-application meeting was literally hanging out at the tailgate, have a quick chat, it's
Yeah,
over in
yeah,
5 minutes, there's no contention. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he may be comparing it to something like that.
Well, that, and he probably is going into it just knowing that it's gonna be a problem, so.
And you'd think they'd wanna know sooner than later.
Well, right,
Before they invest a bunch of
Right.
time.
Right.
that's the whole point,
Point
yeah,
of this, yeah, is to,
is to,
If there's an issue, wouldn't you wanna,
Yep.
hey, let's reroute
Save
this?
time and money, yeah.
yeah.
If I may ask, while we're, you know, what, considering this application, I'd like to touch base on the standard lease that we have in front of us that was submitted on the east side of Bombazine Island. And I know that the applicant had attended a couple of our meetings, and we opposed it considering how close it was to a productive shellfish grow area. And there was some pogie-seining that took place. I don't know if it was right exactly inside the footprint, but it was, you know, right almost on top of it. But it was still submitted, and one of our biggest concerns was the amount of gear. And the applicant only shared a certain amount of gear that is in his proposal. He failed to mention the other 5,000 individual carts gear that they intend on putting that is proposed. And I was just wondering if you guys knew what the status was on that. Are we gonna have a pre-application meeting with this for that standard lease proposal, or?
He'd
I-
be
I
beyond
know-
that.
Open session already?
Yeah, that's already down.
They
the
haven't had a
road.
scoping session, I don't think.
No,
You
they
did- or-
did.
They
I
did.
just pulled it up, and it says the scoping session happened on February 23rd of 2024.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. I'm thinking of he hasn't had the public hearing then, right?
No.
Right.
And don't.
That was, you were there, David. That was at the Cundy's Harbor
Yeah,
Community
yeah.
Hall over there.
It looks like it's.
But one of my biggest concerns was, the applicant failed to share that he's gonna have a processing building on that footprint, and that entails a lot of biological waste that's being put into the water column. But one of my biggest concerns in the Marine Resource Committee was the amount of gear. And the applicant never shared with us that on top of that 500 cages, grow cages, he's gonna have 5,000 other containment. It's a new kind of containment, but still, I mean, that substantial amount of gear on that footprint that he failed to share with us. And I was just wondering where the status was on that, because I still oppose it. And I'm just hoping that this committee has the opportunity to go over that application as well.
Does the committee want me to bring that at a future meeting, bring full
Yeah.
application? You guys can
If
start
you don't
talking about it.
mind, yeah.
It's up to George.
I guess you could, so right now, it's just, it's in the, either there's gonna be a public hearing scheduled for it, or there's not. I guess we just could find out.
Standard is automatic.
Yeah, he has that.
Standard's automatic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Experimental is the one that has a trigger
Yeah,
point.
and if
okay.
you guys are all like anxious to go get it, you can go on if you go on the DMR aquaculture web map and you click on that box up by Bombazine, it'll have a little hot link that says, link, get the info here, and it brings you to what has been sent so far, which is their standard lease application. It's got the dates for when the scoping session was, and then it does have all of the gear drawings and how many and all of that, so you guys can go take a look at that if you're,
Yeah.
So they're just waiting on DMR to schedule a public hearing, essentially?
yeah.
Not only my concerns, I had a couple of different concerns, and another one of them was, the way the current comes up in through the New Meadows right there, it deflects off Bombazine Island. There's a tremendous amount of current at times, right within that footprint. They have explored, that applicant has multiple LPAs in the New Meadows River, and he has found like that is where things grow the quickest. But there's a reason why, and it's because of that current that provides the surrounding, resources. And that applicant also has a pretty good sized lease, I believe 2 of them currently right now on the other side of Bombazine Island. But yeah, I was just curious because we had opposed it, and there was things that wasn't shared with us that I can't believe weren't, so.
So if the public hearing hasn't been scheduled, so there's still time to be an intervener or
believe
to
so.
speak at the
Yeah.
public?
I
We
think
can look
so.
into it.
We could put it on, if it's okay with George, maybe put it on next month's
Yep.
agenda, and we can review it, and then if we vote to be an intervener when they schedule it, we can.
I mean,
That sound good?
what are your thoughts on it? I mean, you was at those meetings, and there's bogey seating that goes on. I know people have.
Half of the bait I've used this year has been caught right there,
Yeah, so.
so.
Well, I think the issue of not revealing everything,
Oh, yeah,
That
exactly.
should be like a violation or something.
Yeah, it really should, especially that
Could you
was
just,
one of our
like-
biggest concerns.
Double, triple, quadruple, what,
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of factors to it. We have a P90 station on the north end of, and we just went over a lengthy closure within that grow area. And I know with the amount of gear that's in that proposal, it's gonna promote a lot of bird feces. It's inevitable, it happens everywhere. If not, I can go there right now where they currently have them and take loads of pictures of bird feces everywhere. And I was for this application if they were DMR was willing to create it as a science project and put a P90 station within the middle of it, and at the same time, gather what intel we could on the shellfish that was right abutting it, like, not even, 80 yards away from it. And DMR didn't wanna entertain either. So I was like, well, no, I'm not going to, so, and I still oppose it, you know, for a couple different reasons, but I'd love to bring
Yeah,
that
let's
on
put it
our
on next
table
month's
and-
agenda and we'll
Yeah.
discuss it as a committee and then we can vote to become an intervener.
Yeah, yep,
Well, and if the public hearing gets scheduled, you don't want to miss it.
Right.
And the town gets notified.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean,
I
my guess
can-
is it's
we all-
probably
a lot of
another
us
year
are
before it gets scheduled, so
So
you've
no
got
hurry.
plenty of time
Yeah.
to organize your thoughts and.
Probably be a good, might be a good opportunity too, I mean, after we get a chance to review it, to try and reach out to the applicant and invite them
We can
to
always
come.
maybe, if we're gonna put it
and
on
meet
next
with the
month's
committee
agenda, we
to
can
try
reach
and
out to the applicant and let
come
him
up with a
know,
better-
and
Yep.
like him.
You know,
Yeah.
Yep.
better
He can use
solution
his
that's
side too.
That's the idea, right?
not gonna be such a problem,
yeah, yeah.
you know? Yeah, like, that's
I haven't-
the whole idea is,
Need it.
you know, I mean,
Yeah.
That's
if there's an issue,
Yeah.
find a
Fix it before
solution.
it happens.
Right.
I'm sure that, I mean, this isn't ideal, but if somebody violates what their lease says, the commissioner can pull it. But you don't want it, they don't want that to get to that point. You want it to not happen in the first place.
Yeah,
Our whole vibe has been proactive.
Yeah.
Solve the problem before it's a problem.
Just what Chris said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, people gotta be willing to, you know, work with you, but
Well, give them the
it's what we're here,
chance
it's
at
what we're here
least.
for.
Yeah. It's up to them if they
We
don't
still
take
got,
it.
we got more things to.
What?
Moving on,
Get it
Vice
going.
Chair,
Anything else?
no, I'm sorry.
committee goals.
That's all right. So, next thing is committee goals. Matt and I got together last week and discussed some, attempted to create some language for the 3 goals that we spoke about at the first meeting, which were sampling, data, and education. And we didn't per se come up with any language, but we broke things down into some subcategories. And we quickly figured out there was some issues with, like the sampling, obviously, funding. It's, you know, it doesn't just happen, so this is gonna be a work in progress. But the categories we came up with were carrying capacity, water quality in general, and a baseline study. And the discussion of funding needs to be added to the future agenda, I think, for that.
We should do that sooner than later because the budget committee starts meeting late October, early November. And if we're gonna need funding, that would be the time to bring it forth to the budget committee.
And obviously, we'd like to have our goals realistic and in line so we can start working on them.
Yeah.
That was the sampling and the data. The categories we came up again was baseline study, microorganisms, pathogens, Vibrio around the oyster farms, and water flow. Again, you know, with data research is gonna come some type of funding. I don't know if it would be, this would all be one project together, or if it would be 2 separate projects.
That's what we'd have to figure out as a committee.
Correct. So, on a future, I'd like that on the agenda for the future.
Isn't there some carrying capacity work? Didn't Mary Ann Nath meet with us?
We didn't get the grant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
we didn't
what
get the
happened with
grant.
Waldeboro, does anybody know if they
Oh,
got?
yeah, they were
They're
doing it
supposed
in
to
the
have it by
Skunkist, right?
September. I went to, and actually, no, this month, it's August. They should have it any day now.
I would love to
Cause I went
see
to the
that.
you were there, right, Jay? In the MCOG where they said they were gonna have it any time
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be super helpful for us to look at to see if we can not repeat stuff they already figured out, or if they had giant gaps, know that, all right, well, we definitely need to do this,
Yeah.
because they didn't look at that.
Well, it's cool that we got somebody that's ahead of us.
Yeah.
You know, if they can,
Yeah.
like
Well,
I say,
and-
know not to,
and
we
Mary-
might know what not to do anyway.
Yeah, Mary Ann's plan is to try, this was Outdoor Heritage Foundation.
Yeah.
She's gonna try a different grant source.
And I've still been needling the Bowdoin College to do some of it too at the Schiller Center there.
Yeah.
They don't pay any
Okay.
taxes, so maybe they can do some
I was just
studies.
wondering if there was still anything going on that
It's coming,
front.
it's coming.
I know the Sheila, they focus a lot on acidity, ocean acidification, they do some DNA sampling too, I believe, right off
Yeah.
the float.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. They are doing some of this data collection that we wanted, like you
Yeah.
said, the DNA stuff and the
Yeah,
current and the microorganisms and all that, but they're doing it, like you said, just at the end of their wharf.
yeah,
But they were open to it, expanding it once they, because this is the first time they've done it, so they wanted to see how the results were before they expanded anywhere, you know, if they got nothing, they know their instruments weren't working, or they gotta fix something.
yeah.
So, they might be willing to expand next year too.
Is that basic DNA or eDNA?
I would have to double check, I don't know. And no, it was beyond basic,
Yeah,
because I mean, they had plankton types and everything.
oh yeah.
That would be cool to have somebody like them to work with.
I can reach out to Holly and maybe she might be willing to come in this
Oh, she
winter
definitely
when,
would.
yeah, when stuff slows down. She's pretty receptive to stuff like that.
So when we talk about funding, are we talking about like $10,000? Are we talking $100,000? What are we talking about?
I think
That's
we'll have to
his-
figure that out
that's
as a
the
committee, look
issue.
into it, and figure out how much these studies cost and how much we need to do them.
And where it's gonna come from.
Yeah.
So that previous
Then
grant
we
was
have a
close to
car wash.
80,000.
Okay.
And how long was that study?
It would have been 6 months?
Yeah, like one season.
One full season, yeah.
Yeah.
I can
That
check
would-
with
yeah.
MCOG.
You want to mechanic, and then meet George at Max
See how they're coming.
Speedos.
They would run.
Matt, I can check with MCOG to get an update
Yeah,
on that study, see what we get.
Can they share like exactly what they're doing for studies too?
Yeah.
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 Alright.
and they did mention too that they would be willing to look into maybe doing one of those studies down here as well, so they might be another entity that we could reach out to for funding as well, because you know more about them than I do, but they seem to be receptive to that type of funding and economic development type stuff.
Yeah, they definitely are, but they were the ones who helped the application for the Outdoor
Okay.
Heritage Fund, so we need to look for, either try it again or look someplace else. But they're definitely interested in the carrying capacity issue and current.
They're not the ones that did the study last year in Brunswick, are they?
No, that was Friends of Casco Bay, I believe.
Yeah.
There's too many to keep track of.
There's the Resiliency Partnership too, and I don't know
Yeah.
who does what, I don't know. But I'll check with MCOG.
Thank you.
What up? I'm sorry, I can't remember, I didn't write it down. What else were there for goals? other than
Education is the next
oh,
one, and this is something that we actually could get started on. We want to know the effects of sewage, pesticides, runoff, and also under education, we want general information of anything fisheries related. Committees have access to the town website, and we could start there anytime, just little bits and pieces and grow it as we go.
Wow, that reminds me, the town website. Is the map available on the town website now, since it's been ratified and voted on?
It wasn't the other day.
So we do not have a staff GIS person.
Right.
I'm doing two
Dar-
jobs
right,
right
Darcy's the
now.
deputy harbor master, she's not, she wasn't hired as GIS, so
Yeah.
we're trying to get.
I'm not trying to rush you. I'm
Yeah.
just-
Yeah,
All right, well, that question came up today, and I didn't know the answer to the question. I felt a little embarrassed that I didn't, since I was on the committee that helped form it, so I didn't know if it
Also,
was
if you have
available to
anyone
the
that's like
public.
desperate to see it, I am happy to,
Yeah,
not as deputy harbor master, as just plain Darcy, I'm happy to sit with them and
Okay.
show them the work that we did, so that they're not just wondering.
well, that was kind of my answer to the question,
Yep.
was to talk to Paul.
Since we're,
I'll get the PDF version up, but as you
It's so
saw
much
earlier,
better
we
to
zoom
zoom
in.
in.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll,
Maybe
since
in
we're on
the-
that subject,
Right, that's what.
Paper.
Yeah, again, like,
Yeah.
summer, when I'm doing all of this stuff, is not a time where I can do the extra side gigs.
Alright, I was,
But, I believe this fall, once something drops down and slows down, I'm only deputy harbor master until what, October?
End of October,
End of
yeah.
October, so, and my farm will slow down by then too, so I project by fall, I'll have something for you guys to look at for that, and we can wrap that up.
Okay, so then that'll, yeah, yep, available. Cool.
So those were, anything else on that? Those were the three goals that we had talked about before, and obviously it's gonna be a work in progress, but, under new business, most likely, if I understand correctly, this most likely will be goal number 4. Allison would like to bring up, promoting the working waterfront, I believe.
So I would love to see the banner that gets changed in the summertime go in the trash and never live again. I'm so sick of seeing the thing about the fireworks. We do that for no other ordinance in town. I don't care about the fireworks, and I feel like we do it, and it's just me speculating because people don't love the fireworks, and it's like a thing to draw the older community that loves to buy here, that we don't do, we have restricted fireworks or whatever, so I would love that the fishing community, that we are a working waterfront community, stays up and never comes down, ever, because that's what we are. And that's, I mean, every business, everything that happens here, all of it, it's based off a working waterfront. And sometimes I think we don't accentuate it enough, like we're trying to get a different look, and we're not. We're a fishing community, and I wanted to say it right on the entrance to the towns. And I want it to stay there, and I don't want it to be a banner. I want it to be part of Harpswell's sign.
Paul spoke to that earlier, I'll give Paul the credit. He said before the meeting started, we were talking, you called it cheesy, I think, or whatever, corny, the
corny,
banner,
yeah.
it's not much. And a permanent, that's something that maybe we can work on funding for too, or have something to create like a nice wooden, permanent sign that sits there. Like you mentioned, what was that one you were mentioning?
There's when you come up, like, no one ever realizes it's there. When you come off the highway in Brunswick, right before you come onto Pleasant Street, there's a little median where, like, the deep cut cuts around. There's a wooden sign that says, "Welcome to Brunswick." And it's like, it's the old-fashioned wooden sign that people are used to seeing.
Oh, that blue one?
I think it's white,
white.
blue lettering or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Something like
You know,
that,
that's all
We have
right,
one-
what town offers, you know, it's like the museum and, right? Isn't that?
No, it's like, I'll take a picture, or next time you guys go off the highway, take a look. It's just like an old-fashioned wooden sign.
We have one at the carrying place.
Yeah.
yeah.
Malcolm Wooden did a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
work trying to
Maybe we
get the
get-
town line moved, but
Maybe we get
settled
one-
for a sign in the end.
maybe
How
we
do
get
you-
like lights that
Allison,
flash.
Yeah.
How do you think if we got
The
a
ones
piece
with
of
the-
aluminum type of thing and had like Stevie make a vinyl wrap that went over it, would that last?
I think you get a
Yeah.
sign made, there's people that like make signs, like permanent signs.
Oh, yeah, see, all right.
We have to-
See, you know more about that stuff. I don't need a sign on the.
I would be
I mean, if you're gonna
happy,
do it,
I
do
would
it.
be happy
Yeah.
with it just
Right.
saying that this is a working waterfront community.
Yeah.
We're a fishing community. I mean, it could just be that simple of words. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, because we're not. But it always irks me every time I see that stupid sign about the fireworks. I'm
I've
like,
never
who
understood
ca-
that
Who
sign.
gives a crap
Do
about the
people listen to
fireworks?
it?
I know, we put the fireworks
But
sign
they
up
take,
when they're
why it
allowed.
makes me mad is because they take down that we're a working waterfront community to put that up. Like,
No, I agree with you.
I bet there's people in town that would love to donate to a sign like that.
Exactly.
and I was
That
just gonna
be
say,
my
I would be
comment
one of
tonight.
the first people to donate to that. Because I would love to see it on the, I mean, it's one of the things I love about Scott's buoys, even though it's in
Yeah.
Brunswick. It's like, that's the welcoming to, guess what's coming? It's a fishing community,
It is nice.
That,
so.
the buoys, I think, I think he was able to do that on his own. I think if we actually placed a sign, again, we most likely would have to go through town process, come to the select board. and-
I'm pretty, I don't like to speak for the other two, but I would be blown away if they
yeah.
didn't
No, I'm
approve
certain that,
something
You do
like that.
24 and 123?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. There's one, they do the signs on both sides.
Yeah. Maybe Do you know anyone, Billy or Allison, that does make signs that you could maybe?
I was just
Yeah,
gonna
so
say,
we-
I'm pretty sure the town has a sign people.
Do we have a sign person?
Don't we have sign people for the
Yeah.
town?
We, no, we use an online service for metal signs.
I have a company that I use that makes, I mean, they're amazing. They're like,
Could you maybe reach out and just maybe get a cost, and then we could start talking about maybe a fundraising effort or something to pay for it as a committee type of thing?
Exactly.
You know, at next month's meeting
when
and
you see a
getting
nice
that ball
sign made,
rolling.
it's like worth the money, I think.
Do they do maintenance as well, Billy? Like after 3 or 4 years, if it needs a tune-up?
We don't maintain our signs. It's like made out of material that just like the rain washes it off. It's like,
Yeah,
it's like
so
meant.
they last
no
quite a
wood.
while.
It's like a, you know, it would be worth it. I know there's plenty of people in town that love to donate to that.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my thought, was that
Yeah, I think if we get a
Wouldn't-
price
I
on it, we
wouldn't,
can get that, and I'll, bring it to the board, just, they're gonna approve it, you know, but I'll get the board to approve it possibly at the next, before our next meeting.
Okay.
If not the next select board meeting, the following one, which will still be
I
for.
think that the signs that are there, the fireworks and the working waterfront, were a Holbrook town collaboration. And I think, I would like to guess Holbrook would participate
Yeah.
and help.
And I think it's great they did that. I mean, it was a great first step, but I
Yeah.
think that we're really, this group is gonna keep pushing for these things, and I think that's a great thing.
I like that idea.
Cool.
so that's, we're gonna call that goal number 4, I guess, and
Yep.
continue work in progress.
Well,
Any-
other things would
whoops.
fit under there, like the fisherman event you've talked about. I mean, there are all kinds of ways you.
Yeah, that's like the public outreach education.
Promotion.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Fisheries promotion,
Yeah.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah, the landowner appreciation that you do.
Town website, again.
The 24th, from 10 to 3, I think it is.
I was gonna ask David to speak to that, a new business, yeah.
Yeah, so come
Just
over.
24?
Yep. Bring an empty belly. So,
Better bring a full bucket.
Where is it, David?
Are you gonna be cooking, David? Chef David?
huh?
Are you gonna be cooking and all that?
Oh, it's organized chaos. Food's good, so.
Where was it, did you say, David?
It's gonna be right at the Grange Hall
Alright.
this year.
Okay, is there any public comment on today's agenda? Before we adjourn, just want to mention the next meeting, I believe, will be September 10th, 5 PM, second Wednesday, is that correct? Just an FYI, September 10th, 5 o'clock. There'll be an email, I'm sure,
Friggin' wrote it down wrong.
prior to with an agenda.
I get it.
Yesterday.
Mine,
Motion to adjourn?
keep all mine right on my phone.
It's public comment open?
Yeah, we can live.
Yep.
Yep, no, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Hi, I just come here to listen, for those of you who didn't meet me, the last meeting, my name's Chris, I presented, 3 LPAs off of Upper Goose. You know, just reading through, or listening through, sorry, apologies, I don't have the best public speaking skills,
That's okay.
at times. But I presented 3 separate LPAs off of Upper Goose in that area. I just wanted to, you know, talk to the committee last I left it. I'm still looking, you know, for alternate areas, you know, so it's still an active process, you know, it takes quite a bit of time to try to find these, you know. And I just wanted to, you know, communicate committee again, you know, I'm still keeping tabs, you know, on what's in there for, you know, lobster gear specifically. It seems like there's still space really, and I guess, I don't know if someone on the committee is willing to actually see it, you know, one of the things after the meeting that was in my head was just like, okay, like, you have a map, right, and it's a lot different when you're there, so, I don't know if there's any willingness to maybe help me potentially still site in that area, or how I should be, you know, receiving, my LPAs.
I think another concern of the committee in that area, and that is on our checklist, is the density of aquaculture within that area as a whole. That area is inundated with LPAs and leases already. Isn't there quite a few around that, Paul? I think there was at least,
Goose Island as a whole, there's a bunch around.
yeah.
I think there's only, one
And
present.
that's- Yeah, right.
I also think, Seth, probably this time of year is when gear's not really gonna be going in there, it's leaving there now, right? So that's not really a good gauge of,
Come November, October, November,
you'd probably see an increase
like
there.
George said, people are gonna go back.
Mid-September, you'll start to see an increase.
Donnie will be there.
Yeah.
He fishes up the bay all year.
So, I think you're gonna see an increase, there's a huge increase, that fishery is going to change again, so.
It's
You'll
just
see it
a
a lot more
real
here in the
hard
fall.
spot.
That's like that little whaleboat spot. There might not be a lot of people, but this fall, when that fall run comes through, they're gonna be back there.
Where it was,
Guy sent me a picture of his plotter today. He's got 7 or 8 strings just on those outer ledges. And they're gonna go back in tight again.
I think your best bet, and the committee can speak more to this if they want, would be to maybe email Paul and ask to get on the agenda for next month. And we could work with you then about citing it better potentially. What do you think of that? How should we approach that?
I mean, we don't really wanna be,
Yeah, we don't really wanna be citing them,
right, right.
but
Maybe you could come back with other sites
what I
in
was saying
mind.
was, you know, like, for reference, I'm saying, you know, I picked coordinates, and, I believe there was like 2 spots, like a few hundred feet away, well away from where my locations were, so I guess I was just like, looking at it, you know, there's a lot of space in that area, it seems, still, from my perspective, so.
Can you pull the map up the,
Yeah, go to the
I mean, this is-
aquaculture web map.
our,
not really on our agenda.
what?
yeah, we're gonna go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, we don't-
Yeah, I think we are.
So I think there's this fine line of, because I felt this way the last time too, was trying to help someone with their sites. But the other thing is too, is like, this is not,
It's not.
one, our job, and two, that's not fishing, to me. You know what I mean? Like, we can't be doing a fisherman's job for them.
Right,
And,
I agree.
I mean, it's, one of our jobs will be to help you, to tell you that where the fishing gear is, but, I mean, it's definitely on the fishing person to understand what's actually happening for activity in that area. So when we're telling you, as fishermen, that there's activity in that area, and you're saying, well, you know, in this time, it's not, like, this is the panel of people that have the most experience in that, and they're telling you, you know, and we told you last time, I think the same thing. So I think you need to take the advice that you're being given and go find your own spot. Unfortunately, I mean, the name of the game could be, you could be rejected 3 or 4 times because you don't pick the right spot, but that's just the way that system was set up. It's not something we chose or how to be a part of it, but I think that we need to, in my opinion, honor the way for fishing tradition as well as in this new industry, so.
Yeah, we're not here just to say no to people, though. I mean,
No.
we're here to work with people.
But
Like,
I'm
you
not
give-
gonna go
you
set
give-
out in a boat and try to tell him where a fishing spot is when there's someone who actually knows the navigation and who fishes and who knows because they've grown up in this territory and they know the area and they already will come with an application prepared for that. So that's my issue, is I don't wanna be doing the fishing for people. It takes lots of years and learning all that stuff to do it. It's not just something we're gonna be able to give people when they
Right,
come
well,
here.
This is why you gotta help people out. I mean,
We can only
I
do so much.
believe him when he says that if you go there right now, there aren't any
course I
buoys
do.
there.
Of course I do. That's
so
fishing.
That's all that he can do, is go and look, and so if we've got better insight, then,
But you're gonna have to do that for every single person that comes in here with an application, to continually be doing, like, giving them insight. That's just not your
Yeah.
job.
that's
That's not our
kind
job.
of what
I think it
thought we were here
is.
for.
I don't think that it's our job to tell people where to fish.
I think
They're
it's,
not
part of the working
Site
group
police.
point was the mapping was also to identify places that might be positive. So.
Right,
But
but
the
it's
map
not
isn't
our
gonna-
job to go, all right, that spot doesn't work, but over on this side does. That's
And
the
the mapping's
applicant's
not
job,
complete.
to
But if
pick a spot
If it's
and,
on the map.
The mapping
Yeah.
is not complete.
It
So
isn't, so it.
It's
well,
not. Whatever you have, it's only partially what have fishermen have given for information. There's probably 85% more information that's not on those maps. And we're not gonna be able to sit here and give that to every single person. That's just part of fishing, is it not? Am I,
Well, we have the map.
I'm not
have
here
the
to,
maps,
I don't
yeah.
wanna direct people where to fish. I don't think that's
Well,
our
I
job.
think,
Well, they're not,
I think
Just trying to
what Chris
say-
said, we're not here, just here to say no either.
right. Anyway, do we have the, our map? No, we don't.
In a
Be on
tiny
the
screen,
Oh,
agenda,
yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
all right, sorry.
Yeah, so I sent an email out to the committee after this last meeting we had. You took up close to an hour of our last meeting. And when the committee says no, it's no. You have to look for another spot. Like these guys have told you, it's not our job to tell you where to fish. It could actually cause liability issues for us down the road. So, unfortunately, you'll have to go through the process.
Yeah, okay, I hear you there, and apologies if there, there's a miscommunication between what I was framing, I just, for the previous, agenda items we were discussing, like I did here, I was like, up here, and I was like, might as well ask, we did run through a framework for those, so I guess, I haven't been able to like rewatch the video and all that, and I guess it's a little hard for me from my perspective, so I'm not trying to, make anyone angry per se.
No,
but
understood.
It's just that my opportunity to really speak with the committee.
Yep.
I showed up again, so I just wanted to, put that out there, really.
It never ends, trust me.
Good? I think we're adjourned. People are walking out, so.
45 minutes better than last time.
Yeah.